This is a warning to all Tesla stock investors. Elon Musk just committed to basically putting Tesla stock on sale, and by that I mean doing something that will almost certainly make the stock go down in the short and even also in the medium term. But in the long term, I think we are all good. We have a lot of Tesla stock catalysts lurking around: the Cybertruck, the next generation vehicle, possibly full self driving getting a lot better quickly. So Tesla stock may go up a lot first, and then Elon may do one of these things that we are about to talk about, which would make the stock go down. But it does not mean that Tesla stock would have to go back all the way down to our current levels or even below our current levels. However, this is very important to watch if you are a Tesla stock investor. I will play a clip from CNBC's interview with Elon Musk, and even if you have seen this clip already, you should watch it again just so you understand the magnitude of what Elon Musk is saying, and so that you never get caught off guard by what Elon Musk is about to do in the near future, many times probably.
Let's talk a bit about your tweets, because it comes up a lot. Even today, it came up in anticipation of this. I mean, you do some tweets that seem to be, or at least give support to some who would call others conspiracy theories.
Well, yes, but I mean, honestly, some of these conspiracy theories have turned out to be true.
Which ones?
Well, like the Hunter Biden laptop.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, that was a pretty big deal. There was Twitter and others engaged in active suppression of information that was relevant to the public.
How do you make a choice? You don't see, I mean, in terms of when you're going to engage. I mean, for example, even today, Elon, you tweeted this thing about George Soros. Well, I'm looking for it because I want to make sure I quote it properly. But, I mean, you know what you wrote. But you basically...
I said it reminds me of Magneto. This is like, calm down, people. This is not like made a federal case out of it.
You also... you said he wants to erode the very fabric of civilization, and Soros hates humanity. Like, when you do something like that, do you
Yeah, I think that's true. That's my opinion.
Okay, but why share it? Why share it? Especially because, I mean...
Elon Musk just gave him this face that says, isn't it obvious that it's the right thing to do? So definitely don't expect Elon to change here. Anyway, let's keep watching.
Why share it when people who buy Teslas may not agree with you? Advertisers on Twitter may not agree with you. Why not just say, hey, I think this. You can tell me. We can talk about it over there. You can tell your friends. But why share it widely?
Elon Musk seems to be in this belief that this even needs to be explained.
I mean, this is freedom of speech. I'm allowed to say what I want.
You absolutely are, but I'm trying to understand why you do, because you have to know it's got a... It puts you in the middle of the partisan divide in the country. It makes you a lightning rod for criticism. I mean, do you like that? People today saying he's an anti-Semite. I don't think you are.
No, I'm definitely. I'm like a pro-Semite, if anything.
I believe that probably is the case.
Yes.
But why would you even introduce the idea then that would be the case?
I mean, look, we don't want to make this a George Soros interview.
No, God, no. I don't want to at all. But what I'm trying, even came up though in the annual meeting. I mean, do your tweets hurt the company? Are there Tesla owners who say, I don't agree with his political position because, and I know it because he shares so much of it? Or are there advertisers on Twitter that Linda Yaccarino will come and say, you got to stop, man. Or, I can't get these ads because of some of the things you tweet.
You gotta love that face that Elon has. He knows exactly what he is doing.
I'm reminded of the scene in The Princess Bride. Great movie.
Great movie.
Where he confronts the person who killed his father. And he says, offer me money. Offer me power. I don't care.
So you just don't care. You want to share what you have to say.
I'll say what I want to say, and if the consequence of that is losing money, so be it.
The interview went from being somewhat lighthearted and fun to being very serious, and Elon showed very clearly he's not willing to change or sacrifice this or compromise any of his freedom of speech here. Here's the clip that Elon mentioned.
Hello, my name power to promise me that. All that I have and more. Please, offer me everything I ask for. Anything you want. I want my father back, you son of a bitch.
But Elon seems to be backtracking on some of his statements. He tweeted earlier that Soros reminds me of Magneto, which is supposedly an evil character in the X-Men series, which I haven't watched, so I'm not really sure. But he says, I'd like to apologize for this post. So maybe Elon is changing, but he says it was really unfair to Magneto. Elon is not going to change, guys. Maybe for some period of time, Elon could dial back his rhetoric like he did in January and February. But going forward, I think we will have many periods where Elon is going to make his views very well known to everyone. If Elon's rhetoric becomes stronger and stronger, then some analysts will downgrade Tesla stock and perhaps some fund managers will sell Tesla stock. Also, it does make some people not buy Tesla vehicles. For example, Dr. Know-It-All, who is a Tesla stock investor, says, I have a friend who commutes 2 hours 3 times per week through Atlanta traffic. He was in the market for a new car and I said, please check out a Tesla Model 3 with FSD. He said he wouldn't because he would give money to Elon, so he bought a Camry for the same amount of money. He didn't even want to try it. We can certainly argue about how commonplace this is, but it certainly happens some of the time. So I'm warning you, if Elon decides to engage himself in political fights every single day or in every single major political fight, and especially during the election time, and especially if elections are really controversial this time as well, in the short term to medium term, Tesla stock could be affected as well, presenting us with buying opportunities. In the long term though, I don't think it matters a whole lot because Tesla has such big opportunities with the EVs and mega packs and full self-driving and bots as well. Imagine the worst case scenario. Even if a total opportunity becomes a little bit smaller because some people just don't want to buy Teslas, the total opportunity is so huge still that Tesla stock still has a whole lot of room to comfortably 10x from here. Another big reason why I don't think this is really a big deal is because Tesla could start to separate its brand away from Elon, especially if Tesla starts to advertise, which at this point, it seems like, yeah, Tesla will be advertising. Elon wouldn't stop speaking openly about his political views, but if there is a more clear separation between Tesla and Elon, then I think there wouldn't really be a problem. But in the short to medium term, it could be because it takes some time to separate these brands from each other. And politically, I think Elon is more of a moderate, so he is likely to go back to the left eventually. Although that one I'm not that sure about, because looking at the US, the country is pretty divided.
Advertising. You got a big applause. You didn't sound like you were going to advertise that much, but you did at least seem to open the way to saying, okay, we might consider doing some advertising. Why?
Well, I mean, I believe in listening to shareholders, and I actually was surprised by the level of enthusiasm for advertising, since we have not historically done that. But there perhaps is some good logic to it in that if we're simply sending out information via, say, the Tesla Twitter account or my Twitter account, we're somewhat preaching to the converted, and not reaching people that are not already convinced, essentially. So I think they probably have a good point. I mean, I think it's worth a try, and we'll see. We'll see how effective.
Do you have any idea how you'd like to try it, or what that would involve?
Well, I mean, I have some general thoughts about advertising. That you know, if advertising is informative and entertaining, then it can start to approach content. So I think sometimes advertising is perhaps not informative, or perhaps in some cases a bit misleading. And in fact, we've lost some advertisers on Twitter because community notes applies to advertising too.
It seems that Twitter lost about $40 million in revenue because McDonald's and Coca-Cola are not advertising as much as they used to in the past because their ads got community noted.
And so if somebody advertises something that isn't that's perhaps a bit inaccurate, then it gets community noted, and then they get mad and stop advertising. But we care enough about the truth that we're willing to give up advertising dollars on Twitter, even if in order to have the least inaccurate source of information.
And I want to talk about that, but I want to obviously spend some time on Tesla. Again, back to ads, though. I mean, am I going to start to see Tesla ads during the NFL broadcast on a given Sunday, Monday, Thursday? The NFL's always on.
Well, bear in mind, I mean, I only just agreed to it, so it's not like I have a fully formed strategy.
Okay. Well, how much time does go into when you think about these things? I mean, was it something you decided to do up on stage, or at least did you know coming in, I may, if this comes up, that I may go there?
No, I mean, the questions are not scripted in any way.
Right.
So
in that moment, you just said, all right, we'll do some ads.
That's right.
So we're only like 20 minutes later, and I'm asking you detailed questions. You don't have any answers, I guess.
I'm not sure what the most effective thing is, except that, like I said, I believe that advertising should be informative about a product. It should be ideally aesthetically pleasing. It should be beautiful. It should have some artistic element to it, and it should be something that you don't regret watching after it's done. And I think if advertising fits those criteria, that it starts to approach content, and that you want advertising that is as close to content as possible, such that you don't regret the time you spent watching it.
It appears to me that Tesla is going to attempt to reinvent advertising too. In yesterday's video right here, I break down my thoughts about Tesla committing to advertise. If you haven't seen it, I suggest that you watch it. My name is Matt Posius, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.